Everyone, my name is Wendy, and you're welcome to the behind the scenes secrets of the freelance technical writers. And today here we have Linda Ikechukwu, and she's actually one of the inspirers for this series that we have here, and it's an honor to have her. Hi, Linda. Please, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, Wendy. My name is Linda Ikechukwu, and I'm currently a developer advocate for a company called Small Step Labs, which our main product is a certificate manager targeting security practitioners and DevOps engineers.
Okay.
Um, yeah, That's about that. And on the side, I run a platform called Everything Technical Writing and a newsletter where I try to um, kind of like answer questions or build like a resource platform for upcoming and budding technical writers to help them answer difficult questions that most people usually have when they're venturing into the industry and just share my learnings. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, how did you get into technical writing? When did you start?
I would say my journey into technical writing was not something of a straight path here. I've always been like kind of like love to write to express myself. So I actually started out as a software engineer first with cloud. I worked as a cloud engineer for a year and some months before I discovered front end and I started learning front end. And after I felt like my hands were now strong, and I've built a couple of projects and done like a couple of freelance jobs. I got a job at a startup as a front end developer, and my main duty was to build out interfaces with React.js and SAS and all that. Yeah, that happened. Technical writing just happened, I would say, because I've always been a writer. And one thing I always do when I'm learning something is to write things for myself or write things for other people because there's this mantra I try to let guide my life. It's something about doing things that like okay, it's from this book called Still Like an Artist. It's like write the blogs you wish you read or write the blogs you wish exist. So that's kind of like what I do when I learn something and I find out that maybe the blogs I used to learn it did not actually explain it in the way that my mind finally visualized and kind of like understood it. I try to like write my own understanding, and that's basically how technical writing started for me. I guess I was just writing and sharing and talking about what I was doing on Twitter and sharing my articles on Twitter. And after a while, a couple of communities and platforms started reaching out to me to publish my articles on their platform. Free Code Camp, CSS Tricks, a couple of all those places. And that was how I actually started. And people, started paying me to submit articles on their platform. That was how technical writing started for me. And then I found out that, oh, this is like actually a thing. There are people that, like technical writers and do it full time. And so I started to read up everything I could find on technical writing, documentation, just everything. Took Google's technical writing course, and the thing with writing is not, I see a lot of people coming up to me about courses and all that. After taking those courses, yeah, it helps, but you only get better at technical writing by actually being a technical writer, by actually writing and just doing stuff and looking at what other people are doing and determining how it's going to improve, how you can use knowledge from what other people are doing or observations from what other people are doing to kind of like improve your own craft. So that was it. And after a while, I worked as a front end developer for like a year and some months. And the company reached out to me with a role, asking me if I would be interested to join them as a technical writer. And yeah, that was how technical writing started for me. And yeah, I guess the backstory I'm trying to say is that I didn't just jump into technical writing. Yeah, it's always been a thing I've been doing, despite whatever title I've had. As a cloud engineer, I was writing. As a front end developer, I was writing. As a technical writer, I had to write more. Now, as a developer advocate, I'm still writing. So it's always been something that I've always done.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, so like, what year did you like begin the entire process, the entire sequence where you kept writing and writing and writing till it eventually morphed into being a technical writer till the point where you a company reached out to you and became a technical writer? Like, how long ago was that?
I'm very bad with dates, but I did leave school around 2019. So it's probably at that time, yeah, 2019, 2020, 2021.
Okay. All right, that's amazing. So, like, what would you describe as your best experience as a technical writer? Maybe a client that stood out for you, a pay range that stood out for you. What would you describe as like your best experience?
My best experience as a technical writer is the research and learning phase. So most times as a technical writer, I get to write about things or document things that I ordinarily wouldn't have bothered learning or coming across if I wasn't asked to write about them. And so it's that phase of learning, discovering, learning about something new that is always exciting for me.
Okay. What about like your worst experience professionally as a technical writer?
I don't think I've had any. Um, I have very strict work ethics. Yeah, and yeah, even talking to clients, they're just signs I see, and I don't take up the job. I try. Um, there's this thing I say, desperation breeds like opportunity for you to be, used. Yeah, so I try not to be desperate when clients reach out to me or when I'm looking for clients. There are attitudes I see or comments I see, and I just walk away really because I don't think I've had any worst experience or anything like that. I do my job and I deliver and move.
That's great. Okay, so like, could you? I don't know if you want to share this, but like, could you talk about your financial journey as a technical writer, how it started, and where you are right now? I feel it's going to inspire a lot of people that are new into the business to want to maybe take it up more. So, would you want
Hmm.
to share?
Um, I don't know if I've had much of a financial journey with technical writing, but like my technical writing, I started making money from technical writing on like I mentioned, publications reaching out to me, asking me to write for their sites as part of their technical content marketing efforts. Publications like Log Rockets, Draft.dev, CSS Tricks, just a couple, yeah, and Digital Ocean, all these platforms. And then I used to, or they pay per piece, sometimes $200, $300, or like $400 per piece, depending on like the technical difficulty of that piece. Yeah, that was how I started. And after doing that for a while, and sharing those, people started reaching out to me on LinkedIn to help with documentation and all that. And I probably started charging a bit higher after going on what's this site called? This site that tracks wages. Um can't remember, but like so I did a couple of research on, and then one thing I want to mention is joining communities. There's this community, technical writing community called Write the Docs. I believe that every technical writer should actually be on that community. It's a Slack community because you get to meet a lot of people, and it's a platform where you can ask any question, career related question, in terms of technical writing. If you're confused about what to charge freelancing, confused about strategies, there are a lot of people there that are willing to share their experience with you. So that's one thing. And I've gotten a couple of freelance jobs too from Ride the Dog. So yeah, just that aside, anybody that's coming up as a technical writer should definitely consider joining the community. Yeah, that was it. Writing a piece on publications, doing a couple of freelance. I wasn't actually even taking it seriously until company reached out to me on LinkedIn and offered me like a full time role. I wasn't taking it was just something that puts extra cash in my pocket because like I had like if I had full time I had a full time job, yeah, while I was doing this publishing per piece and all that. And yeah, that's it. I took it more seriously and started like, learning on how to improve documentation, information architecture, and all that goes with it when I got a full time job because it did now require me to sit down and actually get good at my craft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. But then you didn't mention like how much you started charging after you had published for Log Rocket, like you said, and before
So
you
that was what I mentioned for her publication, yeah.
yeah.
And I can't give you like a definite price or like a
Okay.
definite range because each job varies.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't tell people how to price because first of all, we can do the same job and charge differently. Yeah, it depends on your turnaround time. But then I tell people to look at your turnaround time. If you're given a particular job to do, first of all, what does it involve? How difficult is this job? And then, would you consider yourself an expert in this? Would you consider yourself someone that has a lot of experience to bring to the board? What is your turnaround time? What is the difference between hiring you and hiring person B? That's all the things you put into consideration when you're coming up with like your pricing targets. You could ask, I don't know, pricing is a very complicated thing that I won't ask you to use my pricing structure. And it's not definite because a company can reach out to me, oh, we want to just document only this feature and we need like I don't know, 4 topics under it, or like this is what this feature entails. It's just different. There's no definitive pricing to it. So, like I mentioned, I use Google to help me gauge, and I go on the community. And sometimes when I'm confused on price and what to price, I go on the community platform and I ask for people who may have taken up such projects and get their ranges, and then decide on okay, based on my experience, based on what I have to offer, this is a pricing that I feel like I would be comfortable with, and
Okay.
then relay back to the client. And the clients can say, oh, we can't pay this. This is what we can pay. And if you're willing to find the middle ground, yeah. So pricing is like something that I really don't discuss because there's no one way fits all to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't do freelance writing for a long time because, like I mentioned, after I got my full time technical writing job, I just stopped. I decided to focus on my job. Technical writing, like I mentioned, when I was doing freelance, was just something to when I was bored and it came. Like I wasn't actively looking out for it. I just started writing because I was writing helped me learn. Writing helped me connect with a community. Writing helped me build like credibility around my name for people to know that oh, if you can write this thing this clearly, then you actually understand what you're doing. Yeah, that was what I would my main reason for going out to write. Yeah, yeah. So the whole freelancing thing was just a need to basis. If someone reached out to me and oh hey, we would like for you to do this, then fine. But I wasn't like actively looking.
Okay. Okay, so like what would you describe as your writing weakness?
Hmm. Writing weakness. Frankly, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a writing weakness. It's something that happens with like every writer, I guess. Sometimes it's difficult to um so as a writer, it's very easy to get sucked into rabbit holes. Say I'm asked to write about um usage of NFTs or something of that nature. And I start reading up on NFTs, and then it's easy for me to deviate on doing my research for usage of NFTs into maybe future applications of NFTs, and just get lost in that rabbit hole. And that's something that um, takes time. It's something that I find that for me, it's when I'm done speculating the amount of time a certain project should take me, that research phase and the probability of getting lost in a rabbit hole is something that always extends that time, because it's just easy to, curiosity and your research, you let your research drive you into places that are not very relevant for like the documents you're trying to create. So that's probably one thing. And you just always have to pull yourself back and remember that, okay, this is your goal, and whatever research you're doing has to revolve around achieving this goal. You could um, go down your rabbit holes at your own time, but for now, this is the goal you have at hand.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. So, like, what would you tag if you look like if you could turn back the hands of time? Yeah, would you want to change anything in the course of your technical writing career from start till now?
No, actually,
Okay,
technical writing was a discovery for me. I don't think I want to change anything because I don't see any angle to change anything. I would say it worked out just fine because of the kind of person I am. I'm a very curious person, and I feel like over the course of my careers, I'm going to take on a lot of titles. Yeah, I've been a cloud engineer, I've been a front end engineer, I've been a technical writer, now a developer advocate. I feel like I'm going to move around a lot over the course of my career, and I really want to change it because I discover things and then find myself in it. So that's how it works, and I don't think I want to. There's
I can
nothing
totally
I
relate.
really
I
want
think I'm
to
like
change.
somebody like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate. So, like, how would you manage like negative critique?
Yeah. So that's the thing about technical writing. Yeah. Your work will get a lot of feedback because especially if it's like if you're working as a technical writer, like a documentation engineer for like an open source product,
Okay.
you know, pushing your work to GitHub, it's going to get a lot of feedback. And I think the mindset, because when I first joined the company I worked for as a full-time technical writer, before then I was used to feedback like from editors. But then joining this company and I found out that like there were several rounds of feedback, from editors, from the engineers themselves, from this, from that. And initially that gave me like a lot of anxiety. That made me like very anxious because and I found that it would take me, because I was very anxious, it would take me a lot of time and a lot of willing myself to go back to those documents and look at the feedback that I had gotten. But then my manager told me something that helped like change the way I started to see feedback. She was like, "You're never going to get better if people don't criticize you, if you don't get feedback, if these are people that have more experience than you do. So whenever you get feedback, I want you to look at it from like an angle of being grateful that you're in this space where people can tell you that this thing you've done this way, it's not that it's bad, but it could be better." And that helps you become like a better writer, yeah. And yeah, she wasn't wrong, because looking at how much of a how better I've become at technical writing compared to like a year or like 2 years ago, and now there's a lot of improvements, massive improvement actually. And that wouldn't have been possible without, getting feedback, being criticized, people telling me that, oh, this doesn't work this way. This could be better this way. Or why not try doing this way because this happens, yeah? And I feel feedback is a two-way street too. So yeah, sometimes how you perceive feedback depends on how the person giving the feedback
True.
gives the feedback. Yeah, so it's something that both the receiver and the person giving feedback should be cautious of. For the person receiving the feedback, see it as an opportunity to grow, to get better at your craft. And for the person giving the feedback, it's important to remember that um, it's not, you're not there to criticize, you're there to help
Help.
people
Yeah.
grow. Yeah, so the first thing to do is to acknowledge that, where they did like really well, acknowledge that, oh, I love how you did this, acknowledge things that were good before you start to point out things that could
Bad.
need some improvements. Yeah. So that's it for me.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, like, what would you want to say to intending freelance technical writers? What words of wisdom would you want to drop for them? Maybe some sort of blueprint to be able to start out their career in technical writing.
Hmm, what would I want to say?
Yeah.
I really do not know because I didn't dwell so much on the phase of freelance technical writing.
Okay.
But one thing I would say is, um, yeah, go read my blog, everythingtechnicalwriting.com. Really, this is not even like, it's not me promoting myself, it's that I've written a lot of things that a lot of people have found helpful. And I feel it would just be redundant for me to start talking about them here again because they've been properly documented on like my blog, and those things are from like my experiences, things I've learned during the course of my journey, and some questions that people have asked me that have caused me to like sit down and reflect and try to like learn how to do certain things, and then I ended up documenting it. Yeah, so that's one thing that I would say. And then another thing is to really join a community, like I mentioned, the Write the Dogs community. There are freelancers there, there are full-time technical writers there, and you'll be able to learn better. Another thing is to have a portfolio. Yeah, I see people all the time looking for um, writing opportunities, and they don't have a portfolio of written work that they can show. Okay, I want to give you a job. How am I sure that you're going to be able to do this? I need to see what you've done before, similar to the kind of job I want to give you. Yeah, so that's another thing. Get like a rock solid portfolio for yourself going, and stay learning. It's a constant thing. Another advice I received recently, which might sound funny at first, but read, if not for anything, read fiction a lot. Why? Because you tend to it opens up your mind, and it serves two purposes. It lets you, okay, read fiction in the sense that not reading to enjoy the storyline, yes, but then read to observe how writers think and how they present their points and their ideas, and then read to, sift through and find new words that you didn't know, and find out how they are used and how you can use them. So it opens up your mind, it gives you an opportunity to just learn grammar and words and all that. So somebody I interviewed recently told me that, and I've been trying it, and it seems funny at first, but it actually works.
Helps. Yes. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Linda, for your time. Well, our platform is called Contenter, and just to give back to those that have spent their time to come on our platform. We want to give you the opportunity to open a portfolio on our website, and it will be linked with this written blog. Okay, so that if an intending prospect looks at the interview, they may want to reach out to you. So we're going to have links to your social media platform as well as your portfolio if you open a portfolio with us. And the advantage of having this portfolio is that it basically has certain features that would allow you to be able to divide your work into different categories. I know technical writing has like different categories. It's a whole broad space. So if you've written on certain topics, you can arrange your work according to those topics and still be able to send out different portfolio links on the demand of the client. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So,
makes sense. I will check it out.
all right, I'm going to send you a link and I really appreciate your time. I don't know if we could connect on WhatsApp or I should send the info on LinkedIn. How often do you frequent LinkedIn? I see your
Yeah,
comment.
LinkedIn is fine.
Okay. There's no problem. Thank you so much. Have an amazing
Sure.
day.
Yeah. You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.